Hi everyone, today we're going to talk about one of the contemporary British artists well known for his installations, Martin Creed. First, I would like to start with a quote that I believe best describe him. The only thing that I feel like I know is that I want to make things. Other than that, I feel like I don't know. Creed does not consider himself as an artist and he doesn't describe what he does as art. According to his interview, he said that he just tried to make things and do things whether it's art or not. His work also reflects an anxiety to communicate in a world that already full of too many things. So he tries to make both something and nothing with everyday materials such as a paper or balloons. And we will see that his sculptures and installation also show us how simple objects can suggest complex meanings. Now let's start with his biography. He is a British artist, musician, composer, as well as performer. He was born in Wakefield, Yorkshire, and raised in Glasgow. And when he was 17, he came to London to study art at the Slade School of Art from 1986 to 1990. His first solo exhibition took place in 1993 in London, and since then he has exhibited widely in Europe and North America. And he participated in a number of important group exhibitions. In 2001, he won the Turner Prize with his controversial work, number 227, The Lights Going On and Off. He currently lives and works in London and Italy. His works include video, installation, paintings, theater, live-action sculpture, music, and so on. He views exhibition as a really long theater that lasts for months. He was trying to make it more like a live event rather than just a display of things. People find his work humorous, but they are also comforting and recognizable because they are things that people are familiar with, so they can engage with his artworks. Since 1987, he started numbering his work, and most of his titles are descriptive. He didn't want to give them titles because he thought the title were pinning the work down. He also wanted to treat them all the same, whether they are pieces of music, or little things, or big things. He didn't want there to be a work number one because he didn't feel comfortable having the first work. So he started with a work number 3, which is a yellow painting, like in this picture. Is absolutely minimalism. He likes to create work that is spontaneous and unplanned, and with this painting he was attempting to simplify things by creating a painting with only one brush mark and one wave of the arm. This one is his most famous work. As I said earlier, in 2001 he won the Turner Prize for this installation, work number 227, The Lights Going On and Off. He had nothing that he wanted to put in the room, so it was simply an empty gallery with the lights going on and off every 5 seconds. When it was first exhibited, it caused outrage, with many critics questioning whether Creed's work should be considered as art. The media also made fun of this installation. There is also one visitor who threw an egg at the wall to kind of protest. However, this work did made him a significant contemporary artist within the art world. The work was also purchased by the Tate Gallery in London 2013, and its estimated value was £110,000. In 2009, he also made a similar inspired piece, work number 990, Curtains Opening and Closing. It is a massive black theater curtain that continuously opens and closes. For this work, he just wanted to use all of the spaces, including the space that people didn't think is the important one. For the work with Boo Tack, which is a reusable adhesive, it started out as an attempt to make something. He was thinking about the joint between the things that you do and the world and how it joins. So he was looking literally at adhesives and way of sticking. He wanted to mount something on the wall, but he couldn't decide what to mount. So he ended up using Boo Tack because it was one of the most available ways to stick something on. Work number 88, a sheet of A4 paper crumpled into a ball, is one of his signature works. It started as an attempt to make something from a piece of paper. It's a simple shape, but the sphere is equal in all directions. One of the things that he liked about it is that it can be something quite precious and also a piece of rubbish. Some people criticized his art, but he commented that the ball of paper is beautifully made and it does takes a skill to produce an entirely spherical shape from a sheet of paper. This also suggests a relationship to traditional artistic forms like origami. For work number 102, a protrusion from a wall. At first he was trying to paint but not feeling able to paint because he can't choose the colors or decide what to do with them. So he was thinking more about trying to make something on a wall rather than a painting. So for the work 102 and work number 264, he was attempting to make something for a wall. But again, he cannot choose what material to use, what shape to make, and how big to make it. So he used the same material as the wall and simply made it to a bell shape. And then he decided to make the curve bigger than the painting roller to make it easier to paint over. And for the color, he just painted with the same color of the wall. Creed himself finds it difficult to make decisions about anything, but he thinks that it's possible to design without choosing. Like, he can choose everything. For example, work number 172 and work number 154, he uses the same shape as the big wall protrusions, but it's much smaller. Again, it was an attempt to make something for a wall, but he couldn't design whether it to go in or to come out. So the work does both. It goes in and it comes out. For this work, initially he made a work with only one metronome. He was invited to participate in an exhibition that was only open for a weekend, so he was looking for a way to pass the time. And metronomes are designed to do just that. At that time, he wanted to get 39 metronomes, but he could not afford it. So he used a single metronome at a moderate speed. Work number 189 is his most important work with the metronomes. It's an attempt to design without choosing because this type of classical metronomes has 39 speeds. So he uses 39 metronomes, each one working at a different speed. And all the metronomes eventually stop at different times after about 2 hours of ticking. This one is a series of 4 pyramidal paintings in various shades of red and orange. This work demonstrates his dedication to minimalism, which has been both praised and criticized. These four pyramidal paintings are also echoing the experimental minimalism of painters such as Mark Rothko.
Work number 200 is one of Creed's important works. The balloon started out as an attempt to make something. Creed said in one of his interviews that he has been trying to use air to make something for a long time because he thinks that it is the perfect material. Air isn't a choice, it's everywhere and we need it. He said that when we go to an art gallery, it's always full of air, and so he was trying to work out a way to use air as a material to make something. In the end, he used balloons because he thought that it was obvious that balloons are the simplest, most available way to package air and to make it visible. He then calculated the volume of a given space and half-filled it with balloons. Now moving on to his neon works. Work number 203 is the beginning of Martin Creed's neon works. The work was initially created in an old desolate building in Clapton, and the neon was used as a practical solution to the problem of having something readable at night. Someone found the building, found out who the owner was, and then invited Creed to try to make something there. He said that he found it very difficult because the building was already amazing and he did not want to compete with it. So he thought that he could write something there, and the phrase "everything is going to be alright" came from working with various options on what he could write there. Work number 232, The Whole World plus the Work equal the whole world in front of Tate Britain, is another one of his famous works. The phrase "the whole world plus the work equal the whole world" was originally written as an attempt to write about the work. Creed felt that everything is connected and that he couldn't separate what was on his head from what was around him. When we do something, we're always doing it in the world, and it always has an effect on the world, whether it's small or big. Anything anyone does has the same effect, he said. He proposed this because he felt that since Tate is an art gallery, it could give this text a context. The work number 809, Don't Worry, in 2008, consists of the phrase "Don't worry" spelled out in yellow neon capital letters. The neon tubes are made of yellow soda glass with white phosphor powder and are 15 millimeters thick. The work is always displayed in a corner so that the word "worry" is hung on the adjacent wall to the word "don't" but at the same height. It is displayed high enough to be out of reach, so visitors have to look upwards in order to view it. The phrase "don't worry" is ambiguous in a way that it is reassuring, yet it implies that there is something to be anxious about. This work can also be associated with other pieces, such as work number 203, Everything is Going to Be Alright, in 1999, which consists of the phrase made in white neon. Creed said that "I want to feel better. I produce things to help me to live. Living and working is a matter of coming to terms with, to face up with, what comes out of you." The work Mothers is his conceptual 41 feet by 8 feet sculpture. It was exhibited in the North Gallery at Hauser and Wirth. This installation spun around. It involved neon text, flashing lights, and was set up on a wooden frame. And in true Creed form, the audience was invited to walk underneath it. Creed said that he had been working on this piece for years. He wanted to do something really big and thought that the word "mothers" would look good big. In addition to his career as an artist, Creed is also a musician. His first band, Owada, was formed in 1994 with Adam McEwen, whom is a contemporary British artist whose conceptual pieces fall between painting, sculpture, and installation, and Kiko Owada. In 1997, they released their first CD called Nothing on David Cunningham's piano label. Sound has also featured in Creed's gallery-based work, with pieces using doorbells, drum machines, and metronomes.
Nothing, 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 nothing,
However, he hasn't used the band name Owada since 1999. Creed then published a recording of his songs titled I Can't Move under his own name in the year 2000.
I can't move. I can't move.
His musical compositions performed with the band Owada have been written around his works to allow for a more intimate and shared experience rather than the ones derived from an individually owned piece of artwork. The idea of musical rhythm also appears throughout his work, such as work number 1059. His work number 1059, The Scotsman Steps, in 2011, was commissioned by the Fruit Market Gallery to make a work as a part of the restoration of the historic Scotsman Steps in Edinburgh. 104 steps leading from the Scotsman Hotel on Northbridge to Waverley Station and the Fruit Market Gallery. The steps were a musical piece, and when people step on each step, it makes a sound. Given this project, he wanted to make the steps look beautiful, but he didn't know what beauty is. He thought the marble was a beautiful material and it made him happy to see them. Since he couldn't decide which marble to use, he used different colors and different types of marbles from all around the world. Creed describes the project as a microcosm of the whole world. Stepping on the different marble steps is like walking through the world.
And in nearly every case on the staircase, there's a head case on the staircase with a suitcase. There's a staircase that goes on like this, you know.
Now we're moving on to his video works. This one is work number 850, Runners. He said in one of his interviews that if we think of death as being still, the opposite of death is being alive and to move as fast as we can. Painting is a fixed object, but the experience of looking at a painting is always alive because the experience of looking at things is always in movement. He made this work because he thought that it was funny running through the gallery and it made him smile.
And I thought that the Devine galleries, being so long, were a good theatre for this work. Because it's almost the length of, say, a sprinting, like an indoor sprinting track. If I think about running and why it is that I like it, I think that it is perhaps because it's an exciting action, and I think it's also an example of being alive. If you think of death as being still, perfectly still, and so the opposite of death would be, you know, to move as fast as you possibly can.
This is another example of his video work, work number 503, made in 2006.